Look at that. Live on a different platform.
We're live
Well,
in
technically not
person.
live,
No,
but
we are live because it says we're live in the corner. So we're live. Well, no, your corner, that corner.
yeah, this is what happens when we have to record something at 9:46 at night on a Thursday after working all day.
Don't forget kids,
Oh god.
spouses. Yeah.
Well, at least my kids are on spring break, so I have the benefit of they can stay up as late as they want and sleep in.
Yeah, no, not yet. Not until next week for us.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so today we're here to talk about our first buddy challenge. We challenged each other to a read, and as we were going through it, it just made more sense to spend more time like talking about these books and diving into the challenge itself. It was actually quite a bit of fun, even if it was a
My
little
book was the better
tumultuous.
one. My book was
I
better.
mean, because I gave your book a higher rating, I'm going to have to say yes,
Yep. See?
but um no, we're too early. We'll get into it. But so we're going to talk about I think we should start on a high note and talk
Okay.
about quote unquote your book, Untethered by Angela Jackson Brown. And
Woohoo.
why don't you go ahead? I'm gonna flip this over here. We got the picture of the book in the top corner because
Awesome
I
sauce.
was prepared,
Isn't
and
it just gorgeous?
it is a very pretty book. I don't what gravitates you towards covers like that? Like what's that cover do for you?
For this one, it was the profile of the woman and the roses.
Okay,
Like, I'm still actually trying to figure out why that cover
I was
was made
curious.
that way because it doesn't fit with the story at all. I thought I was gonna get something about somebody in like a garden or something or like a secret something. No, not at all.
I don't, I'm curious actually about that. We'll have to look into that because I don't know. There's nothing I can say that maybe it deals with like the delicacy. No, that's the wrong word. Like delicate nature of these kids that she's helping to, try and mold and prune. And I don't know.
Mhm.
Grabbing at straws here, but the cover is pretty.
I have no idea, but I will read, uh I don't know. I'm not going to read the whole entire summary, but I probably will help if I moved my iPad right, like old lady views because I'm like, looking over to the side.
You're
Um,
good.
I'll go ahead and read the semi summary, kind of sum it up a little bit
Hmm.
because, not everybody even knows what this book is about because like I said, I saw the ad on Facebook. It kept popping up, and I'm like, what is this book? And I'm like, okay, I have to get this book. So, Untethered by Angela Jackson Brown is a historical novel set in 1967 Troy, Alabama, that explores themes of love, responsibility, and self discovery amid societal upheaval. This book focuses on Katia Daniels, who is a dedicated African American woman in her 40s who serves as the executive director of the Pike County Group Home for Negro Boys. Pouring her heart into nurturing the young lives under her care, she harbors a deep longing for children of her own. Her personal life is marked by a romantic entanglement with an older man, which provides comfort but also prompts her to question her life's trajectory. And I think that's a good sum it
Yeah,
up.
I agree. Um, I was like, what did you pick for me? The second I read that summary, I'm like, it's gonna be so dry, it's gonna be so boring, and, like, I will say that this is not a plot-driven book whatsoever,
Mm,
there's no plot. It's like a Coach Carter or a Stand By Me or, like,
uh-huh.
that kinda story where you're getting a story that follows somebody who's, like, trying to mentor kids, and
Mhm.
and I really was kinda blown away at how quickly I connected with these characters. Now, I will say, I was real sick of hearing about some of the music because it was always the same who was it?
Mhm.
Simone? Nina Simone,
Yeah,
is that who it was?
Nina Simone.
And, like, listen, y'all,
That was
at the
her
end of this
favorite.
I know,
That
but,
was
like,
her
did we need
favorite.
to include the concert at the end? I'm like,
I
it's a little
thought that
too
was
on the
sweet.
nose. She's trying to
I
hang out with
thought that
Nina.
was sweet. I definitely thought that was sweet because, it really sets the time frame necessarily that this took place because yes, there were a lot of different concerts and jazz bands and stuff like that, but Nina Simone was definitely um pretty, I don't want to say iconic, but pretty well known, especially for some of her songs having to deal with some of those more like um, harder themes necessarily that were taking
Mhm.
place, and Nina Simone sang about those.
I just felt
You're like,
like
"No."
I just felt like it was too on the nose. Like, you coulda come up with 5 other people, I felt, that, some blues singers, some bluegrass, something to put somebody in there, but it was only ever Nina. Um, but that's just me nitpicking because I wanna try and pick on your book a little bit since I know what's
No.
coming.
No,
But
this you can't pick on this one. This one was so good. And I feel like Nina Simone was symbolic to this book just because of the heartache that we went through with Katia and the ups and downs and the roller coaster and then the mention of how she would just put on Nina Simone and it really just resonated. I think it just stuck.
I definitely will say it, the character herself, while it wasn't somebody that I could connect with, like, I see myself in this person. No, but
Mhm.
I definitely see aunts and, people I grew up with, and, like, I see people I know in each
Mhm.
of the characters, not just Katia, but, her mom being, like, so strong-willed and everything just
Mhm.
reminded me so much of my grandmother, and she's just funny, and I everything about it was just really sweet. It definitely dealt with some dark things, but,
Mhm.
I think it handled it really well. So, overall, your book was a surprise. Your book was for sure outside of my comfort zone by, like, a lot. But also, as I said before, I don't know that, like, there was anything in it that, like, is going to draw me towards another book like it. I don't
Really?
know I don't know I can't say that because, like, Angela Jackson Brown was a good writer. I did like um, her voice, her literary voice, so I could
Mhm.
read other books by her, and also, I found, like, that historical time frame is just close enough. That 50s, 60s time frame is close enough where it doesn't feel as historic for me. I mean, it's
Mhm.
only 20 years, 21 years before I was born, so it's not like it's 1920 and everybody talks different. Like,
Mhm.
it felt real and it was a little bit easier, so who knows? I don't think I'm seeking them out, but I'd be surprised if I don't find some kind of story. Because I mean, I have been reading, James Baldwin and other stories about the South and kind of that time frame back there from the 20s to the 50s to the 60s,
Mhm.
and so, I don't know, maybe I'll find another story in there,
I
but
think you will,
it
because
was
you see that historical fiction is not all that bad.
correct.
Mhm.
But, like, what about this historical fiction did I like? It wasn't really the historical aspect, and that's probably the one aspect I struggled with the most was,
Mhm.
like, talking about the music and stuff, like, that didn't click with me. Like, I see what she's trying to do, but
Mhm.
it didn't click for me. But I'm also the kind of person that I hate a book that's specific. Like, I don't want you to be like, "I picked up my Pepsi Cola." Like, okay, they're not gonna give you a sponsorship. I don't need it to be specific. If you just say, "I pick up my glass of pop," or whatever, and,
Mhm.
so I kinda get a little gripey on that. I don't know.
Well, I was a complete fan. I've read some heavier books necessarily, and it made me laugh because you had said like, like this was a harder book for you and that, it was difficult. And I'm like, "Oh, really? I thought it was perfectly fine, and I'm just
Yeah.
listening and going." And you're like, "No, this part
I was
comes
walking
in."
around the grocery store shopping, crying, absolutely crying.
I didn't shed a single tear.
I'm reminded of, like, all those moments that, like, kinda I wasn't expecting it. So,
Mhm,
like, I didn't go into this book with, like, a whole lot of expectations, but I was kinda hoping it would just be like a, "Let's show some strife, let's show some struggle," but, like, it
mhm,
wasn't gonna go there, and then it went there, and I was kinda surprised because I was really connecting with
mhm,
the characters, and, like, I'm not gonna give it away, I don't wanna spoil anything, but it definitely was like, "Oh, this isn't gonna have a super happy ending."
mhm.
Um, and, like,
But it
yeah,
still
it does,
Mhm.
but,
It still did.
I mean, there's loss,
Mhm.
and,
It was
also
unexpected loss. I think that was the part to add, was that it was unexpected because as you're reading it, you're like, "Oh, what's gonna happen?" You don't really expect it, and then it happens, and you're like, "Oh, no way." Like,
yeah.
it doesn't. Yeah. Mhm,
I can't remember, the kids' names, but there's just something about the way the boys were raised, which is very
mhm,
much like how my grandmother raised my parents and how my dad tried to raise to raise me with very, respectful ways and like, yeah, you can lose your temper and stuff, but like just talked really calmly. Now
mhm,
my grandmother wouldn't have had no crap about it. It would have been,
mhm,
you get in here, you listen to me, that's the end of that. But I see how they were raising the boys to be respectful, and
mhm,
it touched on things, a lot of dark topics like abuse, drug abuse, physical abuse, sexual
mhm.
violence, um, infertility.
Yeah.
There's a lot about infertility and, um, I don't know, the dynamic between the older gentleman and her
Mhm.
mom was shocking. I was like, "Oh,"
I loved it. I laughed so hard.
but, like, I see it, and I love
I
how
was
she
driving
took
down
it.
the highway, and I was like, "What?"
And, like, she was relieved, and I like that because,
Mhm,
like, I did like that aspect of it, like, you find who you find, and I like there's disability rep,
mhm.
because he has the love interest has a amputated leg, right? Yeah,
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 I believe so.
and, I don't know,
Or
just
did he?
overall,
Because I
I
know
think
he
it's
was a truck driver. I remember she mentioning that he was a truck driver, but I
truck
don't
driver, I
know
thought
if he.
he did the construction company, the
Mm-mm.
remodeling company.
No, the remodeling company was her friend that had the amputated leg, but the one that,
Oh,
because he
yes,
was in
I'm
the
sorry, I
war.
was talking about him,
Oh, okay,
not
okay.
that's the
I don't
real love
remember his name.
interest.
Yeah,
The older gentleman ain't.
no,
No.
no.
I don't remember nobody's name, and I didn't know if it was Katya. I didn't
Hmm.
know, and I listened to the audiobook, but I don't remember what they said
They
because
said Kadia.
I was listening
Yeah,
to it on
because you
3 times
listened.
speed.
Exactly. And you're telling me that I need to get up there. Nope. Mm-mm.
Yes.
Nope. Not happening.
Oh my gosh. But it was a really, really good story.
Hmm.
Uh, Heartbreaking, heartwarming. The little stuttering boy was so sweet,
Yes.
and
The narrator did
it
awesome with that. I
I
think
definitely
that
thought
was huge.
I wanna say I got, like, Boo Radley vibes, I don't know, but something happened where, as I'm listening to it, I'm reminded of, like, when reading To Kill a Mockingbird and things like that, like, I think it's that time frame, obviously, they're not the
Hmm.
same time, but, um, it's something so sweet about the narrator trying to do that stutter voice and
Hmm.
be, the voice of the little kid. I loved it, I really did. I ain't gonna try and dissuade anybody from reading it. If you can deal with a slower story that is not super eventful,
Hmm.
but it has heart, it has great characters, it's got some ups and some downs,
Hmm.
but like it's just raw and real and authentic to the Southern Black voice. I mean, Troy, Alabama is not someplace I want to go get lost in.
Mm-mm. No, no, not at all. My favorite about this story, because as you know, I read a lot of books that focus on the strength of a woman. And this, I think, was perfect in displaying that. And it was the main focus, you know, with Kadia's struggles of everything she went through and then caring for those kids while also wanting a family of her own. And I just thought that was, I think she did perfect with writing this story.
She did, and she made a
Hmm.
representation feel
Yeah.
realistic of like Katia is a she's the what administrator for
Hmm.
this Pike County group home, and that's not something a woman in a position at that point in 67 is still pretty rare. And there's only
Hmm.
one woman on the board and what only one person of color. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a hard time to try and do something like that. So, I mean, she
Hmm.
definitely is a very inspirational, strong character dealing with generational trauma, medical trauma. Like there's just a lot going on in her life, and she
Just
still makes time
everything.
to focus on them kids.
I loved it. And I
Yeah.
do plan to read more of her books. I actually found a lot of them for my Kindle, and I did add them to my Kindle, so I do plan on reading more of her books.
Now remember, you can't buy any more books in April. You got to read the ones that
Actually,
you already got.
which is perfect because I don't plan on buying them unless I need to, but I can't buy all of the books because I don't have space for them. So
I get you.
I am very particular in the books that I buy now. Pretty
Yeah, me
much just
too.
book club stuff. I think that's where I'm at. I think I'm just gonna start getting the book club ones because I like when you have the book and you're like, hey, here's our book. You know, it's
Book
different.
of the month is probably the one thing that I will say people are sleeping on it. Like I know everybody's
Hmm.
got it. Like, but like if you don't have book of the month, not
You
sponsored by
need
the
it.
way, but
Hmm.
book of the month gives you the opportunity to get some new releases, some great books, but also get some other add-ons for
Hmm.
$10. Hardcover book for $10, folks.
Yeah, because normally the books, I mean, I was just in Barnes a few days ago and there were books that were on their new releases for $30. I was like,
That's
wait, why
pretty
is this book
normal.
$30?
I
I
mean,
remember
paperbacks. Where's
I
this book at?
I've been getting paperback books just because, I mean, I hate that I have to wait for them, but usually by the time I get the book, they're already in paperback, so I don't spend as much. But
Yeah.
hardcovers have really just jumped up.
Like this book,
Mhm.
The Warbler, it just came out. This is a paperback and it's got it listed at 16.99, which actually is a great price.
Mhm.
I think this one just came out. I don't know. I just hit my 2025. Now,
Okay.
let's go with this old bad boy. Okay, very
The book
very
is
big.
huge.
Um when this came out in 2000 and the art in this is so pretty. 2014,
Mhm.
11 years ago. This
Mhm.
book 25.99.
Wow. And how much
Now
is
did
it probably going for now?
this book would be easily $10 more, 35-ish dollars. Now, you saw the video I sent you about Sanderson.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
book should be quadruple the price of this book.
Mhm. But
It's
it's not.
not because they can't.
Mhm.
And that's what's wild to me is the price of these books. I mean, this one just
Mhm.
came out as well. Um, it's a translated book. Okay, how much do you think this one is?
Translated book, 25.
It's 20.
Oh, okay.
It's less than 200 pages, I think. It is.
And see, I
It's
would think that it would be more
175
because it's
pages.
translated.
Yeah, Bastarika is a she's really coming off of a high last year. It was like the last couple years. She wrote a book called Tender is the Flesh, and it's not for you. It's a
Yeah, I've heard
cannibalistic
about
book.
that one. Yeah, no, that's
Um,
definitely not for me. And that is not
but
allowed to be a
it was
challenge.
it was
Mm-mm.
it was really big. Everybody was giving it. I don't plan to read it because like I draw the line as well. But like what what I'm saying is these prices for books are really starting to get not
Hmm.
even starting to get they're completely out of hand. Now here's a hardcover for that just came out last Tuesday, which
Hmm.
is the Buffalo Hunter.
Okay. And it's a special edition because it has sprayed edges.
Yeah, it has some sprayed edges, which is coming normal. It's not truly a special edition, but like
Hmm.
this is a library copy. Okay, like I got it at the library. This
Okay.
book, $30.
And
It
you know
is
what?
400
That's like
pages.
the whole special edition thing. When I was in Barnes, there were actually the special edition books because I was looking for Oathbound. It took me 40 minutes, but I finally found it, and it was the last one in the store. But it was actually like, I think my special Oathbound book was like $18, but for the regular one, it was like 23, $24.
I don't
So
get
it's
it.
like they want you to get the special edition, but it's like, why? What if I don't want the pretty sprayed edges and all the
Here's
extra
because that was
pictures?
probably a Barnes exclusive edition,
It
and
was.
Barn wants to show that, "Hey, we sold more of our special edition that you can't get anywhere else than the
Mm,
regular copy." Yeah, it's because it's 4 or $5 cheaper, but they don't wanna
yeah.
talk about that.
Mm-mm. No.
The publishing industry, it's the housing market. It'll eventually crash, and it's gonna kill me because, like, I want my authors to be rewarded for their hard work. Like, I've tried writing novels. It is extremely challenging. Not to mention, like,
Mm-hmm.
once you get the story done, getting across the finish line and in the hands of a reader is sometimes years worth of work.
Yeah.
And so, like, I want my people to be rewarded, but I ain't got money. That's why I use the library so much.
Mm-hmm. There's
And like,
nothing wrong with the library
there's
at
nothing wrong
all.
with that.
Mm-mm.
The author's still getting rewarded, and um, I mean, the library isn't an essential thing. I have a fun story.
Mm-hmm.
The city of North Olmsted and Olmsted Falls, now Olmsted Township.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? So it used to be called something else, like New Philadelphia or something. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
A gentleman who I don't know first name, but last name was Olmsted, wanted to purchase the town. And so he purchased the rights. This they changed the name of the town to Olmsted. It was Olmsted Township, Olmsted Falls, by giving them 500 books. He donated 500 books. They changed the name of the town because that's how valuable books were at that time. Not
Oh,
money,
wow.
books. They have quite a few of
Wonder
those
what
books
books he
still.
donated.
They're in. You can go into the North Olmsted Library right
Okay.
on Lorraine Road, and you can see quite a few of them that are up there. It's kind of hard. They're old,
Mm-hmm.
200 years old, but I
That
thought
would
that was
still be
such a
kind of
cool
cool to
story.
see. That
Yeah.
is cool. And that's why I always tell everybody, a lot of people don't like to read or they don't understand why people like to read.
Hmm.
And I've always been told that if anyone is trying to keep any,
Oh no, we lost her.
no, I'm
There
still
she is.
here. I'm gonna say I'm still
You
here. Okay.
disappeared for some reason.
That was weird. But no, I was still here and I was talking. Okay. But no, I was saying they always say that anything that the world doesn't want you to know, they put in a book.
Yeah,
And I totally think that is true. Totally think that's true.
I completely agree. Books as a whole are absolutely vital to our world.
Hmm.
I will say this: when Mark Twain was writing books, and Edgar Allan Poe, and all the greats of the world, they had stories to tell. They had lessons
Hmm.
to learn. This smut and shit that's on TikTok now. I don't know what story they're trying to tell,
I
but
don't know what story that is.
here's how stories have changed.
Mhm.
The world is hard to cope with a lot of times, and so we just escape. We escape into lives we can't live, we could never live, or we don't want to actually live, but we want to visit. So stories are still important, and I'm gonna keep reading. I This is a hobby that I think I'm gonna continue with the rest of my life. Versus like Emily will make fun of me. I start a hobby and I get real into it, and then like it roller coasters, and then it fizzles out. Well, reading hasn't gone anywhere. It's been really. This is my 6th year like reading
Mhm.
as a hobby with a lot of passion behind it. The podcast, the book club, the booktube, all of that stuff is just going to build on that
I think
momentum,
it
and
honestly is fun
it is.
because like we say all the time, anytime you're talking about books, it's a good time.
It's a good time. You see how many I didn't have to move to grab all these books.
I
I'm
don't have
always
any. I
I'm
mean,
just
we
surrounded.
could
This
we
is how I'm going to
could
be found one day, just like crushed.
we could go there.
What do you got? Oh, your Kindle.
I can't
No, you've got 10,000 times more books than I do right there.
300. I think there's 300
Damn,
on here.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I think there's 300 total. I haven't looked in a while, but I am interested to know.
Well, before we go into our next conversation, if you didn't listen to the podcast, if you didn't come from the podcast to listen to this, head over there and make sure you do. But we also want to take this time to talk about what's coming up in April with the spring cleaning readathon.
April.
April's here,
Hmm.
y'all. It's what,
So
4 to 5
I
days away?
cannot believe it's literally April. Like, you might as well just say it's April now, but I cannot believe that it is literally almost April.
Yep.
Time is literally flying. Not to mention our episode that comes out, well, technically, right now it's not out yet, but it'll be out the same time this is posted. So it'll be episode 9.
Yeah. I know. Where did the other episode? I feel like we're on like episode 4, 5, and
It doesn't feel like
I
it's
messed it
been
up at the
years.
end of I messed it up at the end of filming because I couldn't remember what we had just talked about all the dates for our upcoming,
Mm-hmm.
recordings, and I'm like, "Shoot, now I don't know which one we're on."
Mm-hmm.
But
Literally,
episode
episode 9.
I
They
wa
say
I
10 is
wanted to
a sweet spot.
hold on. You might be a liar. Wait, I think it's episode 8.
Is it 8?
It is 8. I told you. This is what I mean. We're
I
all
thought it was
behind.
okay, so I thought it was 9. Okay, so no, this one's 8.
8.
And then okay. Well, it's
Yeah,
it's
then
still close to 10.
we have 9 scheduled, for Sunday to record,
Uh-huh.
Sunday the 6th. So,
So technically we're
um,
already there because we
we're
already
already there.
started talking about it. So we might as well just say
Did we
9.
start planning for it? No. No, we did not.
No. No, it usually happens what, day before, 2 days
Day or so,
before.
but we do
Mhm.
pretty good with like, when it's a recap episode, it's really not that hard. Our other episodes takes a little bit more effort, so
Mhm.
we'll start working on that over the next week or so. I've got some ideas, so we'll
Okay,
see.
good. I'm excited. Like April to me just says spring. And why not take all those books that are sitting next to you in that pile collecting dust and read them?
Yeah, like now listen, am I gonna cheat a little bit? Yes. I'm going to need to get audio copies of the books that I physically own through like Libby or something because I'll read one book if I try to spend a
Mhm.
whole week reading with my eyes. I'm terrible.
I
I'm such a
told you we
slow
should just
reader.
make it a month
No,
or 2 weeks because
no,
then you have the whole month where you're just spring cleaning and you're getting all those books out.
no, no, no. Too long. By that
That could
time,
literally be,
I'd be burned out.
well, I don't
I
know.
also
Maybe
couldn't
I'll do
commit
my
the
own
whole
challenge
month to
then.
only read the books that I own. Like I got new releases coming out. I got things I'm looking forward to.
So maybe I will be creative with my to be read, and I will do my whole hopefuls for April to be books that I already own.
Okay. I
Maybe,
support this for you.
maybe,
I'm
maybe.
I love it. I've got books on here that I I don't know that I'm going to get to. Um Emily grabbed this while we were at the library last day. The cover is atrocious, everybody. It looks like Harry Potter grown up. But um and it's
It
by
does.
it does look like Harry, his glasses and all. So James Butcher is the
Mhm.
son of a fantasy writer whose name is Jim Butcher. And he writes in the fantasy world. And the books that he writes are a lot of the ones are like, I'm sure you've seen the cover. It's the Dresden Files, but he's got
Mhm.
like a big long trench coat on and like a very specific like fedora looking hat. I've
Okay.
never felt intrigued to read these, but Emily grabbed it and was like, this gives me your vibes. And I'm like, first of all,
Where?
what, when, how? But I'm gonna give it a try. And then
Okay.
I found this one, and I love a novella, so it's
Mhm.
tiny. And this is part of the Jim Butcher series, the Dresden Files. And when I was checking it out, the librarian in Oberlin, who I love everybody at the Oberlin Public Library. They're incredible. They've been taking care of me since I was literally a kid there. And she goes, "Oh, I really love that one. I love the Dresden Files." And I'm like, maybe it's gonna be a win for me. I don't know.
Maybe it'll be a win. I can't wait to hear more about that one. Because
So
last time you read a little novella, you didn't like it.
no, no. But
Mhm.
I mean, you can't win them all. Doesn't matter if it's big or small. Some stories just suck.
I wouldn't say that some stories just suck. Reading is subjective, like Ninth House.
I knew you were gonna go there. I was waiting for it. Knew you were gonna go there.
It was perfect, wasn't it?
I know. I was waiting for this. It was a good setup. I alley ooped you pretty good. But before we go on to that, the spring
Mhm.
cleaning readathon, April 20th through the 27th. Um,
Mhm.
our aim is to just try and get some of the books that we already own off of our TBR and like stop procrastinating like we all do and just get one off, get two off, whatever you can get to, but spend your time focusing on that. We have some great little prompts. I think the prompts are the most fun because like we're mood readers.
Mhm.
So sometimes a prompt is going to like lead you down a thing, or maybe you're going to need to get creative to like, I know the book I want to read, but the prompt it doesn't quite fit. So then you got to bend the rules a little bit. You do you, just as long as you're reading
Mhm.
and you're taking it off, that's fine. We're gonna have some more stuff hitting socials here. We'll spend the next week doing that, Ash, and we'll get the bingo board up and some visuals and stuff so people can start planning their TBRs. If you're a planner,
Mhm.
we're not
No, I make hopeful lists.
hopefuls, and then sometimes throw the whole thing away. Don't read a single thing on it.
Yeah, that has happened before too.
I've
Sometimes
been
it's
doing
just
pretty
not
good.
fitting the mood. It's like, well, I don't want to read this. And like I said, I was going to take forever to read A Little House and take my time. And all of a sudden I was like, I'm going to read A Little House. And I am literally, what is it, part two? I'm on part three, chapter two. So I've actually made like some pretty decent progress in that one.
Also, you called it a little house. Uh,
I said life.
you
It's
you
10
said
it's
house.
10:20 at night. It's 10:20 at night and it's past my bedtime.
It's
A
on
little
recording, so
life.
everybody's gonna hear you. Yeah.
You can't edit it either.
Nope. I said I ain't editing it. Y'all getting it all. We are exhausted. Also, I'm using my webcam, so like this glare from the light is terrible, but whatever.
I think it's actually kind of cool.
I liked yours the other day. You had it on how do I change this color? You had it
It
on it
was
was
like
like
a
shifting.
it was like some it was the one after because I usually do pink.
That one.
Yeah, that one. That was cool.
That's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
I gotta get back to my color now. There we go. I like green.
So while you're doing that, I will highlight some of the prompts for our readathon just because I think they are really cool. So my absolute favorite one is a book you've been avoiding. That'll be Mistborn. It's gonna happen. A book with a fresh start. A book that's been on your TBR forever. So I definitely have one of those, or three of those. And last in, first out. Read the newest book on your shelf. And I just bought six of them. So one of those get to go in it.
We bought we bought some books the other day, and so I'm trying to think like, is that the last book I bought? I mean, I don't know. I've still got a couple days. Maybe I'll buy one this weekend, but I don't remember what I bought though. Shoot, but
That
one
is
way or
real
another.
life reader. That is real life reader struggles. Like,
Well, some of the
man.
books that I've bought recently, I've been trying to do my library thing, and then if I really
Hmm.
enjoy a book and I find it, like I go to the Goodwill bookstore in Westlake, which is awesome because like $3 books, $4 books, like I can get my collection built if I'm lucky enough to find a treasure in there. But I'm buying books that I've already read that I really
Hmm.
enjoyed instead of like
I
taking
haven't
a
been there
risk and
yet.
spending money first.
I
Oh,
haven't been there yet.
I think you're gonna find a lot of books that you like.
Hmm.
I'm real niche. Like I want the sci-fi books, I want the horror books. There's just not a lot of those. But
Hmm.
like general fiction books that, you wouldn't think about. There's a lot of literary fiction books. Um and some
Okay.
newer one. Like you get lucky. Actually, that might have been the last place I bought a book. I got a random book there that I wanted from my collection and I think it was like $3 and I'm like, "Yeah, let me get it. It's in
Hmm.
good shape. It's not got a bunch
Okay.
of stains on it. It's not all bent up." So, it's definitely worth the trip, and if you don't like it, Barnes is around the corner.
I really only like Barnes when they have their sales.
Yeah.
Their paperback ones where you can get the buy one, get one, and the 50% off hardcover books.
I I like BAM. I like Books A Million. I no
I
longer
like their bargain section.
correct.
Hmm.
And they have a TikTok inspired, I know, but they have a TikTok inspired bargain section, which is actually pretty good to get
Oh,
some. Like,
I
there were
didn't know
some
that.
books, like, the I talked about the Locked Tomb series from Tamsin Muir, the, Gideon the Ninth. They
Hmm.
never have Gideon, but they had Nona the Ninth, which is the 3rd book, and, I got that there for $6,
Oh,
5.97,
wow.
and so I'm waiting for them to have Gideon and Harrow so I can complete the collection. It's never you're never that lucky, but, like, their bargain section is huge.
I'm gonna have to go. It's been a while since I went. I think the last time I went was like October,
Yeah.
maybe. I'm gonna have to go again and
Actually,
visit
I
the
think
bargain section.
the last time you were there, didn't we bump into you and Quan?
We bumped into you guys, but that wasn't the last
Okay.
time I went. That was one of the times, but it wasn't the last time.
Okay.
I feel like it was like in October. It was one of my mommy timeout days, is what I call them. I call them mommy timeouts. And I went and I was like, I want to go look for books. And I don't even think I actually bought a book that day.
I do
No,
that a lot because,
I
like,
didn't
I'm
even buy
picky.
a book. I just walked around. I was like, this is really nice. But I did get to film. Well, I didn't film actually, but like, make content and take pictures of books and stuff for like TikTok and all those things. So,
Yeah. Books
hmm.
A Million is great. They have the rewards program, and I dropped the Barnes membership, and I
Hmm.
keep up with the BAM one because, number 1, there's all these coupons and, like,
Yes, the
you don't
coupons.
have to I keep the website link to the lost
Hmm.
coupon thing, and you
Hmm.
can use them as many times as you want.
See, I
And
lost my coupons.
I'll send you the link to the website because it gives you all the coupons, which is
Oh,
like it's the oops, I lost my link,
okay.
and you can just pull that up. I bookmarked it on my mobile browser, and then I'm like, "Ooh, I know I'm gonna spend $50. I can get $10 off,
Well, that's
or 75
perfect.
bucks, you
Yeah,
get
please send
15
that
bucks
to
off."
me because I
Yeah,
literally
so
have no idea where that disappeared. And you would be proud of me because I did go to Barnes and they asked me, it's like, do you want your membership? And I really thought about it. I was like, let me just ring up, what I have first and see what my damage is. And she rang me up and I was like, hmm. Gave her my little, gift certificate, coupon or whatever that had my gift card. And then she was like, well, do you want to sign up? And I said, nah, no.
no.
Because there's
I
really it's not like I go all the time. If I go, I
mhm,
have to either pay for parking or walk a mile to the store. No. I'm like,
yeah,
no, it's not worth it for me anymore. And I
I
have more than
agree.
enough tote bags. I don't need any more tote bags.
That's funny. Well, I think we've put this off long enough. I think it's time to talk about this book.
This is what we need to do the Rocky song. Dun, 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 dun. Is that the Rocky song? Dun, 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 dun.
Yep. Um, Look, we've already talked about it quite a bit, but Untethered was a big win. Ninth
It
house, I
was.
think I'm still counting as a win for the challenge, even though you didn't love it. It was outside of your comfort zone. You did complete it. You remember nothing about it, but you gave it a decent rating because I think the reflection on it, and I think I had to do this with the book the other day. After
Hmm.
reflecting on the read, it's not subjectively bad. It just
Hmm.
wasn't what you would normally read. So I get that. That was the
It
point of
was
the
it
challenge
was
though.
everything in a book that I would never read about.
You keep saying that, and I'm telling you. That's not true
It
because you
was,
love secret societies. Well, you don't love, but you've enjoyed secret societies
but they had more action and they weren't as
because
gory.
they were written for children.
Absolutely, that's why I love them.
I wanted a grown-up dark academia.
This
So
was this was definitely a dark academia. Um, Everything that I would read that I wouldn't read in a book. Yeah. So for this one, The Ninth House, for people who do not know, is a dark fantasy novel set at Yale University, blending mystery, horror, and supernatural elements. It follows Galaxy Alex Stern, a young woman with a troubled past who is given a second chance at life when she is offered a place at Yale under mysterious circumstances. The catch, she must serve as a member of the Lethe, which is a secret society overseeing the university's other secret societies which practice real magic.
yep. Here's the thing. I This is my first dark academia read. I had
Hmm.
never read anything, not truly like, can you consider, no, I'm not even going to say that. Like dark academia is it's it's what exactly what it says. So there are darker tones to it, usually some kind of dark magic or something like that. But like the academia side of things isn't just because it's set in a school setting, but like there's
Hmm.
also a bit of schoolish structure to the story
I
itself.
don't remember anything with them being actually in school. I don't even think I
So
remember
she's
them
not
talking
tech
about classes.
she does like Dawes is studying nonstop to get her
Hmm.
thesis and everything passed. Um, Alex is only there. Obviously, she's got a troubled past, as it said. She's only
Hmm.
there because somebody took a shining to her, and you find out more about her past and
Hmm.
why they kind of definitely looked at her. You find out a lot more in book two, which apparently you're not going to read. So who
Nope.
cares?
Nope. We're not gonna read it. If it's
But
as dark as this one, absolutely not.
I
Um.
I wanted you to like it enough to maybe pick up an Academy for Liars, which is a very similar tone.
Hmm.
The magic is different. There's
Hmm.
some time and space elements to it, to the magic, that do get a little more confusing. But I will
Okay.
say that I think you'll relate to some of the character work a little bit more. Obviously, it's in a historically black uh, university. So there is a little bit more there. I still think because
You said
we're not
Academy of
saying
Liars?
An Academy for Liars by
An
Alexis
Academy
Henderson.
for Liars. Okay.
I still think because you like dark academias, it's an adult dark academia, so you might it's definitely a little slower, but I
Hmm.
really enjoyed that one. I don't know,
Oh, I've
it's
seen
pretty
this
on
one.
par.
I've seen this one before.
I didn't enjoy it as much as Ninth House, but I think maybe there's a little bit more for you, but
It
I
only
wouldn't touch it for
has
quite a while.
it has 3.47 rating on Goodreads, which to
Isn't
me
great.
just says it's an okay book. I
Yeah.
don't usually I don't usually go for the ones that are 3, especially when they have such a large number of ratings, because that to me tells me like this might not be, as good as I want it to be. Um,
I'm trying to think about I'm going onto my Goodreads to see what I gave it. I
so
wanna
that's
say I
one that
gave
I
it a
would,
3.5.
which is really right on with everybody else as well too on here.
Yeah,
I would have to look at it to read and see what it's necessarily about, but I do like
I
books
did. I
that
gave it a
have
3.
magic. Okay. I do like books that have magic in it. I like books that have secret societies and things like that because that to me is just interesting. Um, but the darker elements of this one definitely the portals, the seeing
Mhm.
of, like the grays and all of that. And it opened up in a scene that literally made me just want to shut the book and say, this is not happening.
I did forget about the scene, and I also
Hmm.
forgot that you don't like
Mm-mm.
body horror elements. You don't like spooky anything. And while it's not spooky, it is gross. It does with some
It was gross. It was
there's
disgusting.
some body stuff. And listen, you are up here. This is like tame compared to what most horror readers do. So if you're a horror reader, don't listen to Ashley for 1 second.
Mm-mm. No, it was gross. It was gross.
Oh
And then how it
gosh.
had like the stock symbols and stuff. So like when I initially first started reading this, I'm like, okay, I was really excited to start this one because I'm like, oh yeah, I did Legendborn, I did Katakana, and I'm like, yeah, I'm excited, I'm ready. And I start listening, and I'm like, well, wait, what am I listening to? It just the way that it just started off and the tone and everything. But I will say, while I gave this book a 3.5, okay, I found it more interesting that the secret societies are actually real. So at the
Mhm.
very end of the book, of course, like I started paying more attention towards the end. It was actually like trying to grab me at the end. But the audio went to an interview with the author. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, I might as well just keep listening because how the book ended. I was like, I might as well. And just to find out that those secret societies actually exist just sent me completely down a rabbit hole. I think that's what made me add that extra point 0.5 because I was like, oh, wait, these are actually real. But
Yeah.
yeah, the portals and the graves and all that. And yeah, no.
That's what I love the most about it is
Hmm.
the supernatural element. I love the supernatural. I
Hmm.
love a book. So what I really dislike about a book is when pre- I'm not going to say pretends. It alludes to the fact that it's supernatural and then
Hmm.
gives it an explanation that's not supernatural, scientific or, whatever. And I like a book that's not afraid to go to the supernatural. We don't
Hmm.
need to know. That's the whole point of it being supernatural. We don't know why or the how, but like I like that.
Hmm.
And this book definitely did that. There's a lot of really cool stuff. Again, I'm going back to an Academy for Liars. Whereas, one thing that I really enjoyed about Ninth House is the house, Lethe house itself, is
Hmm.
sentient in a way. Like it's kind of alive. It does things that
Mhm.
show that it is trying to aid in its people and protect its people. And I like that. I really, really enjoy that. And in Academy for Liars, the whole school is hidden in the middle of a town of like an Atlanta town.
So
Like it's
Savannah.
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Savannah, that's
Savannah.
it.
Mhm.
Um, and so it's right in the middle of it, but it's hidden and it's been hidden for all these years. And obviously there's some things that go into like you start to get some stories about it. You start to understand kind of how this is there, why it's there, how they keep up with it. Like really cool stuff. It falls apart at the end. I'm not gonna lie. It's
Mhm.
not as good as Ninth House, but I think I can't like Dark Academia wise, Babel by R.F. Kuang. We're
I'm gonna
not
read
going.
that
That's
one.
you. How? Listen,
It's on my list.
I. You,
I don't know what it's about, but the cover in the book and the
it's about
hype.
the ancient library of Alexandria.
Okay.
So it is truly historic,
Okay.
and there's going to be some other things. I think Catabasis is I don't want to say her, their new
Yeah,
book. I don't
it's the
know
new
how
one.
they, but also very similar. But that one I think has a little bit of romance to it. I don't know that
Okay.
Babel does. I've had Babel since we got it as a book of the month. We've not gotten to it, but it's not dark
Babel
in the same
has
way.
it's got a 4.17 and there's
Yeah, it's big.
351,000 ratings. So that's why I'm like, that book is one that I would definitely try. It says a historical fantasy epic.
If I had to give you a dark, I don't even want to call it dark academia. It's an academia book, academia
Hmm.
centered adult book. I think that's more up your alley because of the historical nature to it. There's
Hmm.
also some fantasy to it. I think it could be fun. You liked Water Moon and some other things, and it has that kind of airy uh, quality to it.
Hmm.
And R.F. Kuang's written some other books that I want to get to as well, like the Poppy War series and some other stuff. But
Do
I
want to read
really need to
Poppy War.
tackle. I need to tackle Babel.
So it sounds like we need to read Babel in a challenge.
Maybe Q3 because that ain't a summer book. Okay, that ain't a spring summer
No,
book.
no, that one would
Um,
have to be probably like a fall.
it's a fall where I can sit. I mean, I think it's like 500, 600 pages. It's a
That's
big one.
nothing. That's nothing.
Okay, so where's that Sanderson read? Why don't you go crack that up? Because I'm
Right
pretty sure
here.
it's 600 pages.
Right here.
Um, yeah. You
Right
think
here.
you have trouble following Ninth House? Wait till you start figuring out how which different metals they ingest in Mistborn, and you got to keep track of it. No, you don't. But
I am excited to finally get into it. I am actually going to start at the beginning of April. So I know it's not technically the spring reading thing, but I know in order for me to
yeah,
finish this book, it's going to have to be in that month.
I completely agree. It took me
Hmm.
half a month on audio. It's 35 hours. It's a big one, and I listen on high speed. I had to slow it down because like
Hmm.
I like his signature writer style, but you've already said you struggled with the narrator.
I did, but I was also, it wasn't the time for me to read that book because, again, true mood reader. But what I did read, I liked. I was kind of making sense of the few pages that I did read. I did like, but yes, the narrator for Audible just, yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I think we've talked a lot about Ninth House. I mean, the things that I liked about Ninth House are things that I inherently like in my books. The things I wanted
Hmm.
to get you to experience, you experienced, and I appreciate you taking it. I won't say seriously because it was like pulling teeth every time to get an
It
update.
definitely was. It
I'm
was.
like,
Especially
read.
when I said, wait, why are they walking? I said, how are they walking through walls?
And what's in the basement? That's literally what you text me. And I'm like, you haven't paid a single bit of attention. And then she asked me a question 10 minutes, y'all, 10 minutes ago. And I'm like, that was in the first chapter.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And she's like, I don't remember that.
But the
I
fact
s-
that I finished this book literally 2 hours before we recorded, absolutely hilarious.
I said Darlington, which is a main character in this book, and she said, "Who's that?" Now,
Mm-hmm.
granted, he's not in the book. He's
Yeah.
referred to in the book because he's missing technically. But see what I got
Nope.
to deal with, y'all.
Nope. Mm-mm.
I'm over
But
here
I
like
read it.
crying. Her book's so emotionally, and she's over here like, "What the f is this?"
It was definitely a challenge. So yes, you won on this one because you truly did pull me out of my comfort zone for this book. Will I read anything like it again? Absolutely not.
Hmm.
But I did it and I feel accomplished because I read it and it wasn't so bad. And plus it gave me a nice little rabbit hole to research. I thought that was cool.
I would say, like, what did we learn from this buddy challenge? First of all, this was just on a whim. We just kind of put something together and we're like, this would be
Hmm.
fun. I didn't realize how much fun it was going to be.
Hmm.
And I think it was the most fun because if every book we picked for each other was just like 5 stars, incredible, it wouldn't be very much fun, right?
Mm-mm.
You got to have a read where it's just like, I mean, I get why you picked it. Overall, it wasn't bad, but like the whole time, it's like a spite read. You're like, I'm
Hmm.
reading it so that I can talk trash on it later.
Hmm.
And I'm looking forward to that.
I'm
I
telling you,
thought,
it's
I
gonna be
literally thought I
payback.
was going to do that with
It's
Untethered,
gonna
and
be
I didn't.
payback. It's gonna be payback. I have
I
already
think,
started looking at books. Hmm.
listen, y'all, it's like having an extra sibling. I can't,
It
can't deal
might
with
be,
it.
I might have to do like a nonfiction read, like a
Uh,
dry nonfiction read. That would be fun. That
don't
one
do
would be
this.
fun.
You don't want the smoke because I already threatened Stephen King with you. We will read The Stand. It is 1,200 pages. And you
And
want to talk about gross?
I probably won't read it.
We couldn't get through
Give me
1,200. I mean, we
fairy
got three
tale.
months.
Give me fairy
I don't want
tale.
that. I could
But I
make you
heard
read
fairy tale
it.
was good. I absolutely was terrified of it as a kid. I don't think I could
You
stand
want to
to
know what makes it
read it.
terrifying as an adult? It's not the giant spider clown monster. It's it's the gross child orgy at the end of the book. Then that's how they save the world.
Okay, no. No, no, it. I
The
didn't even know
man
that was in the
is
book. Absolutely not.
correct. The
No.
man is icky. It doesn't even have a purpose, y'all.
No, thank you.
I can't stand it. Anyways, no, what
Okay.
we're not doing that. I have some books that I'm not trying to be mean. I have some books that I'm like actually interested in reading myself, and I think it'd be fun for us to read together,
Okay.
like Fifth Season.
I do want to read fifth season. I want to read that this summer.
I think it's very much on the tinge of like what you would already be kind of interested in. You've already said
Hmm.
you're interested in it as a whole, but the style of the writing and K. Jemisin and the African inspired storytelling and all the other pieces, I'm like, that feels like that could be a really fun one. I need to tackle it because I got
Hmm.
all 3 books in the trilogy and I've gotten like 25 to 30% through fifth season. Yo, I don't
Okay.
remember a single thing. Like, I wasn't in the mood and I shouldn't have tried, but I did. And now I got to start all over. But I was thinking something like that, like trying to get you into like Mistborn's gonna be full fantasy, but, like, trying to find something that gets you more interested in fantasy, or I have some sci-fis that I think could be really fun for us to read,
That's one thing I don't really read too much is sci-fi.
and that's why I'm leaning towards, but, like,
Hmm.
here's what I have an issue with sci-fi, is if it's too sci. I
Hmm.
don't want it to be too science heavy,
Hmm.
so I also am looking for a book that's in there. So I don't know. I'm thinking something like that. I wouldn't mind a nonfiction read. I'd love you to challenge me for that nonfiction read when that James Baldwin book comes out because that's what I want.
Nope. Mm-mm.
No, you're gonna make me read something stupid.
Don't be stupid.
Don't make it a memoir because I don't want to trash a real person.
No, I'm gonna
Okay.
have you. I'm gonna have you read A Little Life.
I mean, I want to read it, but like, emotionally, you saw that
You are
video I sent
not.
you.
You are not gonna want
That
to read
girl
A
on
Little
that
Life.
plane was in shambles.
When I tell you, part 2 was heavy. Like I mean, it was heavy, heavy, and I'm like, whew, okay. I didn't cry though,
Yeah, what's
but
up with that?
I don't know. I don't know. But however, um, I like the way A Little Life is written. I think it's a special kind of weird, twisted, beautiful to how the story is written. And I think that might be the piece that you appreciate. But getting over the hump of the heavy. And I mean, this
Hmm.
is not like your traditional heavy. This is like, oh my gosh, like people really deal with things of this nature.
Yeah.
So you might be reading A Little Life.
All right. Well, I don't think
Hmm.
we're gonna end up kicking off any challenges. We'll probably
No.
talk about it here in on the next episode. But
Hmm.
April is just gonna be full of our readathon, and
Yes.
um, in order for me to hit my Sanderson book quota, I gotta finish. I think I gotta do at least 2 books this
And
month
that's a
by him.
lot. That's a lot.
Both of them are long. I've got Warbreaker. I can start that now, but
Hmm.
I'm finishing this one, Tell Her Small
That's
Fortunes.
so cute. I think that's the cutest little book.
Did you read Legends and Lattes, or no? You bought it. Did you buy it?
No, I didn't do
Oh, okay.
Legends and Lattes. Mm-mm.
Legends and Lattes vibes
Okay.
less interesting. It's not bad, but like this was never going to be a 5 star, y'all. Like we're
Hmm.
starting at like 3.5 as like the top. It's probably like a 3. There's a weird element in here that feels like, so when you have a cozy book, it's got to be lower stakes.
Hmm.
Y'all, this feels low stakes on everything else except for the missing child that is a big part of the story. Like they're
Okay.
looking for a missing child, but they be taking their time traveling this place and making tea and selling fortune. I'm like,
Okay.
his daughter has been missing for a month, y'all. And like it
Uh-oh.
maybe there it seems like it's trying to go a better way with it, but it just feels a little odd to me. So it might end up being a 2.5, 3, but this is a palate cleanser. This
I was
is a
gonna say
cup
it's
of
a palate
water
cleanser. Hmm.
because I read such big, heavy books,
Hmm.
and you're in that world, and like sometimes it's hard to get out of that world, but you also
Yeah.
can't immerse. Like I couldn't read a Brandon Sanderson trilogy and just like book after book after book. Like,
Mm-mm. You gotta take your
ugh,
time with
I'll
those.
never get out
Hmm.
of that world. I will be walking around in chainmail and shit. Like I don't know. I can't immerse like that. I gotta get in and out.
Hmm.
It's like when you're in the
That's how
pool
I
and it's
am with
cold.
Avatar.
Oh yeah, well,
I still have to read A Court of Things in Ruin, and it's been on my hopefuls for the last 2 months, and I still said that I haven't picked it up to read it yet.
honestly,
It might be
I
in
think is
April.
that the green one?
No, the green one was actually really good. This is the pink one.
Okay. Emily, so she somehow gave her books away, sold her books to some, I don't know. They're gone.
Hmm.
So she was really ticked to find that out. So she's been buying one book at a time. Now we do have the hardcover, the last one, the
Hmm.
Flame Iron,
The
the
Silver
something Flame.
Flames. Hmm.
Yeah. She's had that one, which she actually hasn't finished it. But so she bought Akatar. She bought
Hmm.
Wings and Ruin the other day, which is like 12, 15 bucks each time
Hmm.
she's going in there. So we go a month and then we go book shopping and she gets the next one. So she'll have her collection back. And I'm like, that's what I need to do, except every time I go in there, I got to drop 30 bucks on a Sanderson book. And
Hmm.
it's just not fair.
Yep. And Target has their buy two, get one free now. So if she actually goes, so if she only needs three more books, she can go and buy those three and she actually gets one of them for free.
Yeah.
Because
Target books are
I still need
interesting.
two. I still need two books. I don't even think I actually bought Akatar. I don't think I have book one, like the physical book one.
That's the kind of book that's great to find at a Books A Million in the TikTok section because, like,
I'm really curious if I have that one. I'm gonna have to go and look on my shelf because I don't remember if I have book one or not.
not sleep deprived Ashley over here wondering where her books are.
Hmm. I'm definitely gonna look to see if I have that one.
But
Mm-mm.
well, we made it through an hour of
We did.
book discussion. It was a lot of fun. This was a really chill, laid back thing. Like, this is a book chat. That's what we're calling it. It's
Hmm.
just us hanging out and talking about this. And we might do more of these if we do like a buddy read that's not a challenge. Like, maybe I challenge you to something else, but like we both want to read fifth season. So maybe it aligns with
Hmm.
that. And maybe we hang out and talk about that. I don't know. Spitballing, but and if people leave comments, please just let us know what you like to see. We can't get better if you don't tell us what you want. You know,
Absolutely.
I'll insert in the the notebook reference. What do you want? Um, but I want to see more engagement from everybody to let us know, like, hey, this was really fun to watch, or please don't ever do this again. Uh, we need something.
Might be because it was so late we recorded. We might have to do this earlier in the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, we tried. We tried to. Also, it's Thursday. Like, I don't have to work tomorrow,
Hmm.
but you do.
Yes, I
Um,
do.
and
Hmm.
you normally asleep at like 9 o'clock. So
Absolutely.
this
But
is
I'm
a
still
late one for
here.
you.
I'm still
I
here.
appreciate you staying up and hanging out and chatting about two books. They were a success. I'm counting them both as a success.
Yes. Our quarter one book challenge was a success.
Quarter two is coming.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna brew up something fun. I'm not gonna be
We'll
too
have it.
mean.
We'll have it figured out by. We have to at least announce it on the next podcast.
Yep.
So that would be episode nine, eight,
Yes, that one is
nine.
9.
Okay, so nine, nine. We will announce what quarter two book challenge will be.
Yeah.
Okay, I
And
got some
we'll
time.
we'll aim to have some fun and we're both I'm going to be going live. Well, not live, but I'm going to get my channel up and running on BookTube. I've got it all set to go. First episode,
Hmm.
first video is going to be coming out soon. So maybe we'll do some
Awesome.
fun content on there. Maybe I'll do a reading vlog where I actually read whatever you're going to challenge me with, and people can follow along with that journey.
That would be so
And
cool.
it'd be fun.
I love this. This is so great. This is fun.
Can you believe that we're here? Like, we went from honestly, we went from seeing each other's Facebook posts
Hmm.
and like, keeping up with each other, but like not engaging, bump into each other every blue moon, to just chatting about like, this would be so much fun. And
Hmm.
then he cut 6 months later, and here
We're
we
doing
are
it.
live. We've got the equipment. We're having a great time.
Hmm.
What
It's
took
so
me so
awesome.
long? I don't know.
We were fearful, but now we have jumped and we're just soaring. And I think that's important that if anybody just wants to do anything, and the worst thing you can do is fail. But I mean, you know how to change it and fix it for the next time, right? You just keep going.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So we're going to leave on that note. I hope you all have a lovely whatever time you're watching this because it's nighttime for us, but you're going to be watching this tomorrow. The
Yep.
episode will be going live in the morning. So I've got it all scheduled to go. And
Awesome.
I hope to hear from you guys soon. Ashley, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And
Indeed.
until next time,
Happy reading.
she got her cue, everybody. This was live. She got it. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.